Hello, Al Pals. This is Big Al. Welcome to Big Al Presents. A few thoughts on Monarch Legacy of Monsters. The series on Apple TV Plus just finished its season. I usually don't like to talk about a series much until it is over and I've got kind of the full picture. So before I go any further, though, caution, possible spoilers. Especially when I do it like this, I usually give away more than I would in the normal 10-word review because I only have 10 words. I'm not going to tell you what the thing's about in that 10 words. So, but this one, something might come out. So you've been warned. Monarch Legacy of Monsters, of course, is a companion series to the Monsterverse, which started with Godzilla 2014. Of course, includes Kong Skull Island and Godzilla vs. Kong, Godzilla King of Monsters. All those films that have been very popular in the last several years. Uh, Monarch focuses on the group that studies the Titans and tries to figure out what they are, why they are, and ultimately the series is a very good companion piece to that universe. Of course, the best part of the series, and usually the best part of any movie if he's in it, is Kurt Russell, who is starring alongside, well, not really alongside, kind of, they play the same person in two different timelines. The character Lee Shaw is a military man, and he was tasked to protect two scientists, and between him and them, kind of the seed of Monarch was planted as they began studying the monsters. Kurt Russell is character is in the more modern timeline of 2015, which is a year after what is considered G-Day, when Godzilla fought the Mutos in San Francisco. It's kind of become a, a very important day in the world in that universe. Uh, Lee Shaw is a loyal, very straightforward, very good man. Does he always make the best decisions? Maybe not, but he's a very interesting character and a very brave character. We find out uh, early on. You kind of wonder. It's like Kurt Russell really old enough to play this character in the timeline because they go back to the 50s when Wyatt Russell was there, and he should be like 90, almost 100. But of course, Kurt Russell's not that old, but they do explain it. So if you're wondering that early, hang in there. Uh, it takes a little bit, but in the last several episodes, they explain it all very reasonably. Of course, it becomes a very important plot piece as to what is going on in the Hollow Earth uh, plus extra. Of course, they went into the Hollow Earth concept in Godzilla versus Kong, so we know that there is stuff within the Earth, and let's just say not all of it is pretty straightforward. Some of it is kind of weird gravitationally and timeline wise. So yeah, it's kind of an interesting concept. The co-stars in the earlier timeline, Mari Yamamoto plays Keiko, and Anders Holm plays Bill Randa. Bill Randa is a character we have known before from Kong Skull Island, played by John Goodman. It's the same character. Of course, he's just a little bit older in that one. And then in the modern timeline, the primary characters that we follow are a bunch of 20-year-olds. Kiersey Clemens as May, Anna Sawai as Kate Randa, and Ren Watabe as Kentaro. Kentaro and Kate are the grandchildren of Keiko and Bill. Uh, Part of the storyline is the, the the young kids trying to figure out what happened to their father, Keiko's son. And for most of the first half of the series, it's basically 20-year-old kids with daddy issues and them complaining and just being all emotional and ticked off all the time. It does get kind of old. And then you have Kiersey Clemens, who is May, who is a hacker girl with an attitude. And let's just say that is the human story. I didn't need to know any, these kids didn't really give anything to the series that was all that exciting. Um, they kind of figured in better towards the end once they got a little more embedded in the Monarch lore and what was going on in the world. But it took a little while for them to just kind of go through their little 20 something hissy fits to get to the more interesting storylines. And the earlier storyline was definitely the more exciting. Uh, Overall, I did really like this series. I think if you cut it to about 6 or 7 episodes and cut out a lot of the well, I say kid, the 20 somethings nonsense, or maybe add more monster fights. Because, I mean, really, isn't that what we all want? That's what I want. I want more monsters. You do get some new monsters, and of course, some good old classic monsters, but not really as much as I think many fans would have liked. When they are on, they're pretty exciting. Some really great designs. Godzilla has a couple of entrances that are pretty darn epic. And at the end, we see the king himself kind of pop up. King Kong kind of shows his face. They at the very end end up on Skull Island. Early on, uh, John Goodman does make a cameo. Kind of something happens to him, and which kind of is the impetus for what the kids are dealing with. Uh, but ultimately, the show is a very uh, nice compliment to the films. Are they absolutely necessary? Probably not. However, there may be some information in it that they're going to expand upon in upcoming films. I don't know. They do uh, tell you a few things about where the Titans go when they disappear into the Earth. Uh, there are some physics uh, that are played with that may become uh, worrisome issues in some films if they decide to really uh, to run with that in some of that storyline. But ultimately, if you sit down to watch Monarch: Legacy of Monsters, to see a lot of monsters, Godzilla kicking a lot of butt, or Kong, swinging around, bashing in big lizard heads or something, you're not going to get that. It is a lot of human drama. It's there's a lot of dialogue. There's a lot of talking, uh, and but well, I think some of the characters could have been better developed. I did like I said, I liked Lee Shaw, both versions. I liked Keiko. I liked Randa in the earlier timeline. It's just those kids that I think really took a lot away from the series for me. So yeah, so I just wanted to just mention that. Ultimately, though, if you are a really super big fan of the MonsterVerse and you like that human drama and you kind of want to know everything that's going on, sure, give it a watch. I gave it 3 stars. I mean, it barely got to three. I will say, Godzilla in the last episode kind of pumped it up for me to a three. I was hovering it around 2.5. It was a good series. I enjoyed it. It was okay. It wasn't the greatest, but when you got Godzilla's doing some cool stuff at the end and helped raise that up a little bit. If I sound like I'm a little harder on it, I was expecting a lot more. I was hoping for like a 4, 5 star thing. So to me, 3 stars and a barely 3 stars is kind of a letdown for me. But ultimately, I mean, I think it was a well done series. The effects are great, direction is great, uh, the acting is on par. It's just that 20-year-old daddy issue crap. I didn't need it. Didn't need it. Wanted more Godzilla kicking butt, but it is what it is. So yeah, Monarch Legacy of Monsters. Basically, for your hardcore fans, I am a hardcore fan, which is why does get the 3 stars. I think anybody else watches it, if you're not as big into the MonsterVerse, just may not care. So that is my review, rating, and thoughts on Monarch Legacy of Monsters. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, Big Al Presents, I really hope you do so. More reviews, rewatches, and rambles in weeks and months to come. If you like this video, I'd appreciate a thumbs up. Share it around. Let people know what Big Al thought about this series. Of course, comment. Love to hear what you thought about the series if you watched it, or just what you think about my little rambling review. Until next time, find something fun to watch and take care.